National Scouting Combine, ladies and gentlemen. There it is for you. Grand Park Event Center, March 7th to the 11th. This is going to be a tremendous event. And all the athletes who I've had the opportunity to talk to are just so great young men. Your man Eric Wilson here for the Sports Arena. So the young man that I'm bringing on right now is a linebacker from Lee University. Let me go ahead and get him in here. This is Mr. Kamel Douhne. How are you, sir?
How you doing, Eric? Good to see you, man.
Appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Sports Arena.
Thank you for having me, man. It's a blessing. Thank you, sir.
Did I say your name right? I apologize, man.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you did it good. I've heard it worse. So,
Okay.
you did pretty good. Yes, sir.
All right. So talk to me, man, about your love for the game. Where did your love of football come from?
Um, you know, as with many athletes, it started at an early age. My story is very different than many. And we won't really have time to get into all that today. But at the same time, it started at a very young age. I remember before the third grade, just going to football games with, the family on Friday nights and just kind of fell in love with the game and had a lot of obstacles in life and things that kept me from really being where I wanted to be with the game. But I think, your heart knows where it is at the end of the day. It comes back to it. If you have a dream, you have a passion, then, you're always going to be led back to it. So I think it's kind of the time for that to become a reality now.
Yeah, and I mean, just watching your tape here, sharing that with the people, just showing them what you are capable of, I think is huge. But let me ask you a question. Why
Yeah.
the linebacker position?
Well, really that's a question that not a lot of people ask, but the linebacker position is very special, especially to me. I think it takes somebody who really really loves the game to be in that position because there's not a lot of glory in that position. There's not a lot of touchdowns in that positions, and sometimes you're just there to make other people look good. You're there just to help on the defensive linemen in case they need you, and sometimes they don't. So you might give it 100% to get to the play, and the play's already dead before you get there. But it's really, I think, the ultimate position in the game where you can have people's back. You're an ultimate hunter. You have to be, to me, I think, the smartest on the field, the most. Just being able to read the plays and being able to be a leader in the defense, respected. So you on the field, you have to be a leader. Off the field, you have to be a leader. That way, in case you get that hunch that this might be the play, they're going to believe you, even though they might not see it. Maybe you've been doing your film work and your film study. So I think it opens up a good position to be a great leader on the team, but also you got to be a hybrid, man. You got to be big enough to go tussle with the big dudes and the bears on the lines, but you also got to be quick enough and mobile enough to get back there with the DBs and be supportive. And so I was blessed, man, with an awesome trainer who Malik Foreman, who had a played at Tennessee for 4 years, and then had a little bit of time in the league, due to some injuries, did a little time in Canada. But he's awesome defensive back, and just he always says you're a linebacker raised by DBs. He said, and he so for my size, I'm not going to move like the DB, but I'm going to look like a DB on the field, if that makes sense.
No, it
Um,
makes perfect
so,
sense.
um, being the linebacker position, you have to have a lot of tools in your belt, man. There might be some games that, you're down in the trenches the whole time. There might be some games that, man, you're just having to run all over the place. But to me, it's a challenge. I think it's one of the positions that you get to use your mind and your intuition and, and your instincts more than any other position in the whole game, because, there's a lot of different variables that could happen. And I think you're really like the dude who the team defense is relying on. When it makes
Yes.
it back there to the guys behind you, I mean, you can stop it before it gets ugly. You can stop it before somebody, might miss a tackle, and then you got a teammate that's just feeling terrible the rest of the game because they missed that tackle, but that tackle could have been solved so to me, I'm a very team sports guy. That's my favorite thing about football. It's the ultimate team sport. So with the linebacker position, it's almost like the glue that holds that defense together.
Mhm.
And if you and I'm sure you watched the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. I mean, you had to say about their defense. The first thing, they had some lockdown linebackers. you
Oh,
know,
yes.
and I think that was pivotal for them. They had great linemen, defensive linemen. They had great, DBs and safeties, and everything was good. But when you have that solid linebacker crew that just passing off, communication was effortless. I think that intimidates an offense more than anything because they
Oh, it's
know
very
those
true.
guys are going to catch your passes, but they also know they're going to light you up if you come down the middle. If you give them the chance, they're coming straight to you for a loss, So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
yes,
I
sir.
definitely agree with you. David and White, what they were able to do, especially, from the start of the run up until the Super Bowl and ultimately winning, you hit the nail on the head. Those two gentlemen were the true difference makers, the true X factors, if you
Mm-hmm.
will, and why that team was successful. So, hey, I don't think I've heard anybody break down why they want that position so much, probably as eloquently as you. So that speaks to not only your heart, but that speaks to the mental frame of why you love this game, and more importantly, why you respect that position so much. With that being said, I got
For
to ask
sure.
you. Listen, I know the politically correct answer. Okay, you just want your shot. You just want your opportunity to go play wherever. Whoever's going to open the door and give you a chance,
Right.
you want it. I get that. Okay,
Right.
let's peel back the layers a little bit now, because there's always that one or two teams that they're like, man, if I get this team, it's gonna be over. It's gonna be done.
Right.
Like, let me get in
Yeah.
that locker room and watch what I'm able to do.
Right.
That's the team that I want to know. So, with that being said, who is that team? Or I'll let you give me two teams if you
Okay.
can't make up your mind, but you got
Right.
to give me, and then more importantly, tell me why.
Well, I think definitely I'm from Georgia, so I gotta say the Falcons number one. I think that this is an awesome franchise, but as far as me looking at a team, there's a lot of teams out there, man. Like everybody wants to be coached by the Bill Belichick's and the Patriots and stuff, but I like the if I could pick one team, probably the Seattle Seahawks because I think that team really, really shows what it means to be a family. I mean, when they just had the Griffin brothers on that team, man, it just showed a lot to me that even through the trials that maybe Shaquem went through and all the stuff that he had to battle in his life, they still took a shot on him, even though he didn't come from the perfect picture. He wasn't the perfect linebacker. And they also had his brother on the team. And to bring him on just respects his brother. But also says, hey, we're gonna give this guy a shot. And he reciprocated that love, I think, when a lot of politics went down. I think he stuck with him, even though it was a little shaky at some times. But I think that the heart of that team, and like the 12th man, like the whole just, and I think Mr. Carroll does a great job of coaching that team. But I think at the end of the day, you got some leaders on that team. But I think not only some superstars, but those superstars are also very humble at the same time, and I think they come and eat at the same table, if that makes sense. So
No, it
that
makes
would have
perfect
to be
sense.
the team that I said, if I could pick any of the teams, no offense to my Atlanta Falcons, but that would be the team that I would love to be a part of. That would be a blessing. So
You know what's so funny? A lot of the D backs, the defensive backs, and just defensive guys in general that I've spoke to in doing these interviews leading up to the combine, I think that's the one piece that all of you gentlemen have in common is the fact that when I ask that question, everybody goes to the deep for defensively. Everybody wants to go to Seattle, and I'm just like, y'all know there are 31 other teams out there, right?
yeah,
Like, I'm just
right,
like, but everybody that has been a consistent answer amongst defensive players who will be attending this National Scouting Combine. Like,
for
I think we
sure.
need to somehow find a way to get Coach Pete Carroll down here and saying, look, bruh, we got a plethora of talent that want to go play for you. Just come on in
Right,
and pick who you want. Like, for
for
real.
real.
I've noticed that about you gentlemen, and I'm very
Right,
excited. Again, thank you so much for your time. I'm very excited to see you, all the rest of the defensive guys show
right.
up at the National Scouting Combine, Grand Park Event Center, from March 7th to the 11th in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hey, much love. I look forward to meeting you, sir. Have a great day. And I mean, we're just under a week or so away. So I'll talk to you really soon.
Yeah, we'll see you there soon, brother. Take it easy, man.
Thank you. Your man, Eric Wilson, Sports Arena. Yeah, I mean, listen, Pete Carroll, you want somewhere to be to where you get firsthand knowledge and get to see the next up and coming and get to be able to basically handpick who you want, or at least, I mean, these gentlemen, I think they would thrive from meeting you. This is my message to Pete Carroll, head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. This is where you need to be. The National Scouting Combine, hosted at the Grand Park Event Center, Indianapolis, Indiana. March 7th through the 11th. I'm just throwing it out there right now. Let's make that happen, people. Your man, Eric Wilson, Sports Arena. Talk to you soon.